Welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It is 9 o'clock on a Thursday, which means it's time for a brand new video. And today I'm going to be doing what everybody has asked me and Lloyd to do since the launch of the Savant deck, which is let you guys see some live unedited performances in the real world. Now, these were all shot at Smoke and Mirrors, which is the incredible bar owned by Mark Bennett in Bristol. And you're going to see three different sets to three different groups of people. Now, as well as seeing the live performances, and what you're going to do is you're going to see three sets. Two of the sets have 4 tricks in it. One of the sets has 2 tricks in it. Okay, so you're going to see quite a lot of performances back to back to back, so you can see exactly how the Savant deck plays in the real world. But I wanted to go one step further for you. So after that, you're then going to see the same video, but we've dropped the audio, and instead there's a kind of a commentary track over the top by me. And I'm actually talking about why I do what I do, why the Savant deck is best in that situation. I cover how the various different approaches to having the deck shuffled work in the real world, how you can actually make the spectator think they've shuffled when they haven't, how you can actually just like completely gloss over shuffling, how you can get the spectator to shuffle. You're going to see all of that. You're even going to see one moment where I actually make a mistake and I talk about what I've done and how I fix it, because I didn't want this to just be a video of here's some performances of the Savant deck. I wanted it to be kind of what Magic TV is all about, which is, hey, here's some performances, but as well as that, let's see if we can use this as a learning opportunity, because every day we're learning. I'm learning, you're learning, we're all learning. So, and I think one of the best ways to learn is from live performance footage. So it's a long video. There's about 40 minutes of live performances with the Savant deck, so you can see exactly how it works, and then we're going to play the same 40 minutes, but I'm going to be doing a commentary over the top of the entire thing, and hopefully that might help to you take your Magic to the next level as well, whether you've got a Savant deck or not. Let's roll the live performances. Awesome. So, we're gonna. Do you like card tricks?
I love all tricks.
Well, we're gonna do the greatest card trick of all time.
Okay.
Put the box over there. Now, before I begin, I want you to see that all the cards are there, and they're all different. Now, do you know, do either of you know how to give the cards one of these fancy shuffles?
No.
Not at all.
No.
Then I'm going to show you.
Okay.
It's very simple. You just do this, and you do this like this, and that's how you shuffle them together. Now, I don't want you to think I'm cheating, so I'm going to spread them out on the table like this.
Okay.
You can see they're shuffled. You push them together yourself like this. Go, pump, 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 pump. You push them together. So you can see those cards are really shuffled in.
Well, I've done a really bad job.
No, but you can see they're all mixed up. That's really
Yeah.
important, right? Now, what you're about to see doesn't always work,
Okay.
right? Hopefully it does. What you're going to do, when I snap my fingers, you're going to cut like this some cards into my hand. I'm going to show you the difference between estimation and a miracle.
Okay.
This is going to blow your mind. So you're going to cut a packet of cards, less than half, into my hand.
Okay.
A packet of cards, go. I would say there's 10 cards. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now think about this. You shuffle, you cut.
What the hell?
I know, but I'm going to go one step further. Every card has a different value.
Okay.
If you add up all the values in the deck of cards, that comes to 364.
Right.
You shuffle the cards, I have no idea what the values of these cards are. I'm going to turn around.
Right.
When I turn around, you are going to spread all of these cards out on the table face up,
Okay.
so I can see all of the cards.
Right.
Then, Sean, when you say go, I'm going to turn round. I'm going to have 1 second to look at that spread of cards, and in 1 second, I'm going to add up all of the values. I'm going to tell you what that is. I'm just going to look at it for 1 second from the deck that you shuffled. That'll be good, right?
Okay, yeah.
So I'm going to turn around. You can mix these up as much as you want to, and then spread them all out face up on the table, okay? I'm going to look this way. Sean, you can make sure I'm not looking. I don't want you to think I'm cheating. So when you finish shuffling those 10 cards,
Okay.
turn them face up, put them all over the table. So they're all over the place.
way.
I'm not looking. I'm looking over the table.
I don't know how he does it.
And you, when they're all spread out, tell me,
Yep, done.
Sean, Can I see all of the cards if I turn around, yes?
Yes.
When you say go, Sean,
Yeah.
I'm going to turn around, I'm going to have one look, I'm going to turn back round. Are you ready?
I'm
When
ready.
you say go.
Go.
That was probably more like half a second, I think. 65. I think the total, I'm going to turn around now, commit to
Okay.
myself, 65. Are you any good at maths?
Yeah.
Now remember, a deck of cards, ace is 1,
Yeah.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, jack is 11, queen is 12,
Joker.
king is 13. Jokers don't have a value.
Right.
So let's count that. So we've got 13,
Yes.
plus 3 is
16.
16. Remember I said 65. 16 plus 10,
26.
26. Plus 2,
28.
plus another 10,
38.
plus 3,
41.
41. Plus 11,
52.
52. Plus 7,
58.
58 is it?
59.
Yeah.
59 actually. It'll be 59, isn't it?
Oh yeah, 59. Sorry.
59. No, it's okay. It's my fault. I shouldn't have put you. 59. The Joker doesn't have a value.
No.
59 plus 6.
65.
And this is why they call me Rain Man. That's the only reason. See, that's never worked before, so we got to share the moment together, which is lovely. Should we go one step further?
Yes.
While I've got you guys ripped up into a fever pitch, let's continue with this carnival-like atmosphere that we've created.
Indeed.
Yes.
Yes. I'm going to keep going until you like it. We'll keep it here a while.
Yes.
Oh, I hope so.
Let's just keep going.
I love magic.
Got the best of both worlds, you know.
Well, let's see if we can go one step further. I am going to tell you I have a prediction in my pocket.
Right.
This is my prediction. I'm going to put it over here in front of you. Don't turn it over just yet. I want you to remember that I put that there from the very beginning. Now, we're going to give these cards a shuffle again. And I'm going to have you pick a card, and I guarantee you that prediction is going to match.
Okay.
I don't want you to think I'm making you pick a card. So I'm
Okay.
going to let these cards go down into my hand.
Right.
You're going to say stop.
Okay.
Where you say stop, I'll cut at that point, I'll show you the card. But here's the thing,
Okay.
if you don't like that card, we can do it again.
Okay.
You can even form a little focus group and decide together if you want the card or not. We'll keep going until you're happy, okay?
Okay.
So, anytime you want to, just say stop.
Stop.
There.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Let's have a look at this card. It's the Two of Hearts. Would you like that?
happy with
Or
that?
should we shuffle it and get a different
know,
It's your
funny-
birthday. Are you happy with that?
I picked that card out earlier in the magazine.
Did you?
Sure.
Well, I think we better stick
It's
with
probably a
it.
good card to pick.
Yeah.
Should,
Okay.
should we do that? The Two
Yeah.
of Hearts?
Let's do that then, yeah.
Okay. Now, here's the thing. I want to point out something incredible. You could have picked any card. You picked the Two of Hearts.
Yeah.
And you could have changed your mind.
Could have.
This prediction has been here from the very beginning.
Yeah.
What's crazy is this prediction is the Jack of Clubs.
Okay.
Thank you very much. I'm here all week. I know. I have a feeling you look slightly underwhelmed. No, that's amazing. Do you know why?
Go on.
Well, because like I said, every card has a value.
Yes.
The value of the Jack is 11.
Yes.
The value of the 2 is 2.
Yes.
11 plus 2 is 13.
Yes.
If you'd have gone with a different card, like a 5, that would have been like 16. That ended up being 13.
Yeah.
I knew that the value of those two cards would be 13. When I was a kid, I wanted to be a spy. So I'd write messages in invisible ink.
Okay.
You could only see with a UV torch. I still have one now. It's not that box. It's the way you get it up there. 11 plus 2 is 13. I wrote,
Amazing.
now that's pretty good.
That's amazing!
It's good, but here's the thing. There's probably more than one combination that would come to 13. It's still good, but I know what you're thinking. You're thinking it would have been so much better if I predicted your actual card. The problem is that's impossible. There's no way I could have predicted your card. But I want you to see, can you hold on to that for a minute?
Yeah, of course.
You can see that there's nothing written on that card.
No.
That's because I didn't write anything on it. You can see that there's nothing written on that card.
No.
That's because I didn't write anything on it. In fact, as I dribble down, look, what do you see on all these cards?
Nothing.
Nothing. Do you know
Nothing.
why? I wrote nothing on any one of these cards. That's the reason. However, you could have picked any card, you picked the 2 of hearts.
Yeah.
And this was face down over here in front of you from the very beginning. And we know that I predicted 13.
Yeah.
But not only that, you never looked at the back of this card. You see, I did write
No.
one more secret message.
No, you shan't. I love magic. It's the best.
That was amazing.
Oh my god, that is so good.
Thank you.
Love that.
Should we try one more? What's
Yes.
more to finish off? How's that?
Yes, yes, please.
Okay.
Yes, please.
Do you guys play cards?
What? Sort of, little bit.
Well, we're going to try and do something with you. As it was your birthday yesterday.
Yes.
It was Shane, right? Sean. Shane. What was your name again? Sean.
You tell me.
Bob. No idea. I can barely remember my own name, to be honest. Sean, right?
Sean, yeah.
Sean. So, Sean, I'm going to give you a demonstration in sleight of hand. Have you ever heard of shuffle tracking? Okay, it's the idea of shuffling the cards and keeping track of every single card. Right, so I'm going to show you how that looks. Obviously, there's 52 cards in the deck. You know it's like 52 cards in the deck. What I'm going to do is this. There's 13 values, ace through to king. Which value would you like? Again, you can confer between you if you want to. Which value would you like? Ace through to king.
No, you picked your baby.
You can
go pick
Yeah.
Go for one that you don't think people would pick. What value would you like? Anything. Ace, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 6. Are you sure?
Yes.
We're going to try and keep track of the 6s. But we're going to make it even harder. I'll take one of the 6s out. Which 6 would you like me to take out?
6 of hearts.
6 of hearts. Let me just grab that. It's going to be in here somewhere. There it is, the 6 of hearts.
Yeah.
6 of hearts. That is.
Yeah.
So, we're going to use your 6 of hearts.
Yeah.
So can you actually just take that and put it face down into the middle somewhere, but leave it sticking out? You want it right there? Are you sure?
No.
There you go. Leave it sticking out. So we're going to use your 6 of hearts to get another value. This value was chosen by you randomly because you put this, the 6 of hearts, you put that into a position in the deck, didn't you?
Yeah.
Right here.
Yeah.
Let's look at the card that you put it next to. The 7.
Okay.
So here's what I'm going to try and do. And you shouldn't really tell people ahead of time what you're going to do, but I am. You pick the 6s, and you ended up picking the 7s randomly, right?
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shuffle the cards
Yeah.
with my eyes shut.
Okay.
I'm going to do as many shuffles as you want from 1 to 5.
Right.
And I'm going to try and keep that 6 next to that 7, but at the same time, I'm going to try and stack the other 3 6s next to the other 3 7s from a pack that you've got. Yeah. Shit just got real and Bristol.
Shit, man.
So, glasses go off.
Oh, business.
Now you know.
It's all good.
We're going to cut these. And if you put those on, you can see how blind I am. Right, here we go.
They really are bad.
First of all, I want you to see no breaks, no nothing, no way to keep track of anything. You get to decide how many shuffles. 1 to 5, how many? 4. Watch my eyes, make sure they're tightly shut. Stacking the 6s.
I don't think it matters going by these glasses.
Here we go. Right, 1 shuffle. That's 1. Shuffle number 2. There. You said 4, right? 4. Shuffle number 3. And final shuffle. That would be that one.
Shuffle number 4.
And how many cuts? I'll keep my eyes shut.
2.
2. Fair?
There.
I'm going to open my eyes and put my glasses on. Right. The 6 of hearts is next to the 7 of clubs. This would be impossible. You shuffle the cards.
Yeah.
There's no way I could do this with my eyes shut. You made all the choices. You chose the 6s. You chose the 7s. Doesn't always work. Let's have a look. We have, there's a says that's 6 of clubs and the 7 of hearts. That's 1. There's the 6 of spades and the 7 of diamonds, that's 2. There's the 6 of diamonds and the 7 of spades, that's 3. And then finally, there is... Oh, I missed 1. I got 3, I missed 1. Hang on, where did it go? Because I can fix this. Where did I miss it? Because you can fix it. There it is. Okay, so I missed 1, but that's fine. Do you know why?
1.
Because you can do it yourself.
How?
I'll show you. Do me a favour, I'll shuffle that 6 in. Take that card, put it face up anywhere you want.
Oh, for goodness
You
sake.
put it face up yourself.
Face
Face
up.
up, face up.
Oh,
Right there. Are
there,
you sure
there.
you want it right there?
No.
No? Okay. It's your choice. Let me cut them again.
I don't even know.
No, if you're making all the decisions here, you tell me where you want it.
Magic.
So do I.
There.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Positive, you want it right there. I got this one, I got this one, I got this one. You put this one right here.
No, shut up.
You.
Brilliant.
Oh, me.
Brilliant. Thank you. Magic.
I love it.
That's never worked before, so we got to share the moment together.
Oh, that. I can't speak.
It'll take a moment to process this.
That is incredible. Oh my gosh.
Well, every little set needs a big finish. Are you ready for the big finish? The big finish involves this.
No.
Another deck of cards. That's going to go in front of you. You are in control of this. We're not going to get to this until later on.
God,
Okay?
it was my life.
Good. You shuffled. I've shuffled. At these points, these cards have been shuffled so much, they're confused to hell. Right? Correct?
Okay.
Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to have you cut some cards onto the table. Perfect. And we'll mark where you cut. Now, if I asked you guys to name a card, any card, psychologically, you would probably go for the Queen of Hearts or the Ace of Spades.
No.
Most people tend to gravitate to the point that I actually have a tattoo of the Queen of Hearts on my arm. So many people name it. If I had you name a number, a position in the deck from 1 to 52, most people would go for 7, 37, or a two-digit odd number. Don't know why it just happens. So we're going to create randomly a card and a number.
Okay.
It starts with where you cut. Can you have a look at that?
Yeah.
Can you see that? Yeah?
Yeah.
We're going to leave it down in the middle. That's the card. No way anyone can know what that card is, right? Now, we'll give the cards a few cuts. Make sure they're completely mixed up. We're going to have you randomly generate a number from the deck. We're going to take 4 cards from the deck. We're going to add those 4 cards together. Whatever the total is, that's what we're going to use as the number. Okay?
Okay.
Okay.
So, you just say stop.
Stop.
There, are you sure? 1, 2. Do you want me to shuffle before we take the next 2?
Yes, please.
Yes? Okay. Have you ever helped a magician before?
No, never.
You're not helping one now?
Not until today.
It's my fault, Shane. I shouldn't have picked it. Right. Are you ready?
Stop.
There.
Yep.
3, 4. Now. Interesting. Okay. Interesting. Those were chosen by you. Multiple shuffles. You chose where to take them out. Do you want to switch any of them out, or are you okay the way we are? You can take a couple, put them back, and take another couple out, or we can keep them as they are.
Nope. No, we'll keep it as there.
Alrighty. We're not even going to use the rest of the cards. We're going to go away. All we use is these 4. Now, I don't want to touch these. Can you hold these cards as if you were about to... I did that with the power of my mind. I hope you I just thought and it knocked over. It's brilliant. Right. Hold these like this, face down, like you're about to deal. Are you left-handed or right-handed?
Right-handed.
Okay, cool. So you would hold these in your left hand, probably. Yes? And you're going to hold them face down, and in a minute you're going to deal. You're going to deal to the number that you generated with these 4 cards. Do you remember the cards that you cut to earlier on, yes?
Yes.
Yes, okay. So, cup your hands together like this, because this is my big finale and I'm not going to touch any of this. I never touch that deck. Let's look at the first card of 1. That's a value of 1. 1 card face down into her hand, face down. Brilliant, that's 1. Next one, that's 11. 11 cards face down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Isn't this exciting? Next one. 2 cards. 1, 2. The last one is a queen. That's 12. 12. So hang on a minute. As you deal that 12th card, something incredible will happen. And I know we've seen some amazing stuff in this last 15 minutes, but this moment, what you're about to see when you deal that 12th card will blow your mind, especially when you consider you shuffled. You took their 4 cards out for wherever you wanted to. Different cards would have been a different value. 12 cards face down, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Look at the 12th card. It's blue. Oh, it's the only blue card. Spread those face down and look, see, make sure there's no more blue cards. There's no more blue cards this time. That is literally the only blue card. It ended up at the position that you picked. That's amazing. But even more amazing, what's the name of your card? Do you remember the card you cut to?
It's Jack of
Spades.
No, try again. Yes, it
Spades.
was definitely spades. Trust me, I've seen this trick before.
Yeah, no.
What was it? Let's try again. What
Jack
was...
of spades.
Jack of spades. But hang on. You look freaked out. But when you go home and tell people about this, you won't tell people about that moment. You won't tell people that you picked any number and that card appeared at that number, with the only one with a different coloured back. You won't tell people that you picked any card and it was the card at the number that he named that you picked. You'll tell people that it confused the hell out of you how this could even happen, when that was the only card in the deck that you could have picked. Turn the cards over, both of you, spread them face up and look at the faces.
What?
magic.
What?
That's fucking brilliant.
No! Oh my god. You're absolute. You're like Gandalf.
You shall not pass!
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
It's hard to say.
That's incredible. Fair play.
That was. I've done. I need to go home now. Like.
But it's a long way.
I think I need a long time to process it.
Yeah, right. It'd be easier to get all
Oh my
than it would
God.
work out.
That.
Wow.
That's that.
Thank.
Are you any good at waterfall shuffling and
Shuffle,
yeah, you shuffle? Okay, Rich. I'd like to point out that I have Rain Man style powers. I really do. I know you don't believe me.
I'm not convinced.
So, would you like to shuffle these? Skills that pay the bills, my friend. Look at that. Now, what I'd like you to do is cut a small packet of cards into my hand. That's not a small packet. Slightly less than that, because I'm not very good. Thank you. Do you want more, or you can cut a few more if you want?
Yeah.
It's totally up to you, however many. Are you happy with those? We'll put the rest away. So, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to look away. I'm not going to look at these cards. You shuffled and you took these cards out. I'm not going to look. You're going to take these cards Shuffle them as much as you want to.
Right.
And you're going to spread them out on the bar so I can see the faces of all of the cards when I turn round.
Okay.
I'm going to then, when you have spread those out, I'm going to turn round for 1 second.
Right.
And I'm going to look at that spread of cards for 1 second and then turn away. And then at that point, I'm going to try and tell you the total of all of these cards when you add them up. Yeah, shit just got really impressive. So, shuffle these. I'm going to look away. By the way, Lou, I'm going to take my glasses off. That makes me effectively blind. I need to prepare for this with a beer. Right, have you shuffled?
I've shuffled, yeah.
Spread them out on the table, wash them out, but just make sure I can see the indices and notice I'm not looking.
Okay.
Lou, you have an important job.
Oh God.
I go by the name of Craig, but that's fine. When I turn round, make sure I'm looking for just 1 second, okay?
Okay.
Lou, when you say go, I'm going to turn round.
Okay. So.
That was actually my record. I think that was half a second. Okay, I think, I don't know if I've got this right, but if I have, 65. I'm committing to 65. Can I turn back round?
Yeah.
Right, let me put my glasses on. 65. I don't know if I'm right. Let's have a look. Joker doesn't count. Let's take the court cards first of all. 13. Lou, you can help me out with this. 13 plus 11.
24.
24 plus 12.
36.
36 plus 10.
46.
46 plus 8.
54.
Plus 5.
59.
Plus 3.
62. 64. 65. How did you do that?
That's very hard.
Unbelievable.
It's very hard.
How?
Rain Man. The one with you, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, I should point out that somewhere I have a prediction.
Okay.
This is my prediction. I'm going to put it right there. It's a prediction of something that's going to happen in the not too distant future. Please notice it's out of my reach. Look, can't get it. Now, I'm sorry, it was Rich.
Yeah.
We've already established that these cards are all there and they're all different.
Yeah. That's
I'm going to have you pick one, Rich.
Okay.
Now, you're going to have a free choice. I'm going to shuffle the cards. You're going to take any one you want to. I'm allowed to look at it. It's not that sort of trick. I will tell you that when you've got the card, if you want to pick a different one, you can. It's important that you realise that you have a free choice. This is not me forcing a card on you.
Right.
So, anytime, just say stop.
Stop.
There. Now let me show you the card.
Okay.
It's a 2. Would you like to keep the 2, or should we do it again?
Let's do it again.
Have you ever helped a magician before? Because frankly, you're not helping one now. Okay, we'll do it again. Anytime, Rich.
Stop.
There, you sure?
That's me.
This time we didn't get a 2. We got a joker. I'm not going to do the joker. I'm sorry. Let's do it again. Anytime.
Stop.
Yeah, you sure?
Yeah, this time.
Let's have a look. Let's have a look.
Okay, yeah, that's
Are you
the one I
happy with the 5?
Yeah.
That's the one you wanted.
That's the one I
You feel
wanted.
very sure about that.
Yeah.
Let's put the 5 there for a minute. Now, last chance, do you want to change your mind? Because I'm about to show you the prediction that will blow your mind.
I'm sticking.
Okay, I don't want you saying later on I made you pick that 5. You want the 5. This prediction's been here the whole time. This prediction was the 8 of diamonds. Thank you very much. How good's that?
Yeah.
I love how you
number.
clapped. I love, you're so polite. She's like, whoa, you got it completely wrong. Go, Magic Boy. That's right. But I didn't get it wrong. Do you know why? I got it 100% correct. Let me explain. You picked a 5,
Yeah.
that's an 8.
Yeah.
The 8 and the 5 added together comes to 13. If you'd have stuck with the 2, my prediction was the 8, it would have been a 10.
Yeah.
If you'd have gone with a different number, it would have been a different thing, but it was 13. Now, when I was a kid, I liked to leave secret messages for people using invisible ink. Did you do that, Rich? Just me.
Just you.
I pretended I was James Bond. And I left a secret message for you, Rich.
Okay.
See, on the card box, I actually wrote the number 13. That's crazy, right?
Yeah.
Because think about this. If that had been a different number, that wouldn't have worked.
No.
This is kind of weird, right?
Yeah.
But I can tell you're not that impressed. No, I can tell you're a little bit underwhelmed, and I know why you're underwhelmed. You're underwhelmed because I didn't really predict the card. I just predicted what the two cards would be if I added them together. Rich, hold that. What do you see on the back of this card? Is there a secret message there? Do you see anything?
No.
Do you know why you see nothing? There's nothing there.
Okay, yeah.
Now, what do you see? Let me pick up the rest of the deck. What do you see on this card?
Nothing.
Nothing there.
Nothing there.
Let me point it at the deck. Go through all of these cards. Do you see anything?
No.
Do you know why you see nothing?
Because there's nothing there.
Nothing there. However, there is one card only, that 8 of diamonds, that added to your card makes 13. 13.
Okay.
The crazy thing is you changed your mind, you ended up on the 5 of spades. There is a message on the back of this card.
Right.
What?
That's magic.
What?
I know. That's never worked before either. So. Wowzers. Can I do one last one to finish up?
You can, yeah.
Are we enjoying ourselves? Speaking from my own personal point of view, I'm having a great time. This is good. We're going to try one final thing, okay? And what you're about to see is impossible. I need a second deck. Can you hold on to this for me, but please don't open it just yet.
Yeah.
Now, we've already established all these cards are here. Catherine, if I asked you to name a card off the top of your head,
Yeah.
in all likelihood, you would go for the Queen of Hearts or the Ace of Spades.
Okay.
Statistically, would you have gone for one of those? Most people would. The Queen of Hearts is so popular, I literally had it tattooed on my arm. So, I don't want you to think that I'm going to make you pick a particular card, because I'm not. I want you to have a completely random one of these cards, okay? So here's what's going to happen. Oh, and by the way, if I ask someone to name a number in the deck, typically they would go for like a 7. 7 is psychologically very popular, so is 37. Catherine, can you just do me a favour and cut some cards onto the table?
Yeah.
That's great, perfect, and we'll mark the cut. I'm going to tell you right now, because this magician should never tell people ahead of time what's going to happen, right? It spoils the surprise. I'm telling you right now, you two are going to make a series of choices.
Okay.
The deck that you're holding, that you have been holding from the beginning of this effect, will predict everything that you are going to do.
Okay.
Strong words, but I really do
Yeah.
believe that. Now, first of all, Catherine, you cut right there. I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to show the camera. Have you all got it?
Yeah.
The card goes down in the middle. Like that. Now, you know before we randomly made a number by taking some cards out?
Yeah.
We're going to do the same thing again. We're going to randomly create a number. This time, you're going to pick 2 cards. You're going to pick 2 cards.
Okay.
So the choices are between you.
Okay.
Just in case you think Rich is in it. By the way, he's not. So, Catherine, say stop.
Stop.
These 2, are you happy?
Yeah.
Rich, your choice. Do you want me to shuffle before you pick your turn?
Yeah.
You do. Okay, no problem. 1 shuffle or 2 shuffle?
1.
Okay. Say stop.
Stop.
There. These 2 right here. Are you okay?
I'm happy, yeah.
Good. Rest of the cards go away. The only important thing are these 4. So, these are the 4 cards that you picked.
Okay.
Here's what we're going to do. Can you do this? Thank you, Rich. We're going to take the cards out. You've been holding these the whole time. At no point have I touched them. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Hold them as if you're about to deal, just like that, face down.
Okay.
You're going to deal cards into Rich's hand, face down. As I show you each card, we'll deal that many into his hand face down. So the first one is a queen, that's a 12. Deal 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Isn't this exciting? Let's look at the next one. It's an ace, that's 1. Slightly less exciting, but the tension is still mounting.
Yeah.
It's building.
Let's look at the next one. It's an 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Last one. 5. Now, before you deal the 5, as she's dealing these 5 face down, I want you to watch, because as you deal that last card, something amazing will happen. Watch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes way. There is one blue card. Spread face down. Are there any other blue cards?
No.
There is one blue card in this deck in the position that you created. That you picked. I know, but you picked a card earlier on, didn't you?
I need out.
What was the card?
Jack of spades.
Oh, Jack's
The Jack of Spades.
No.
But you know what? If you think that's crazy, when you go home and talk about this, and trust me, Catherine Britt, you will talk about this. It's not about the fact that this card was in the exact position that you created, that it was the exact card that you freely picked, Catherine. You will remember and talk about how you have no choice. Because you're holding some cards, turn them face up and spread through them. Both of you turn the cards face up. Every other card in the pack is blank. There is only one card and one card only printed, which is the Jack of Spades.
Wow.
That is a miracle. And sleep. There we go.
That is impressive.
So you like magic, obviously.
I do, yeah.
Brilliant. Because we're about to do about 7 hours of cards.
Your favourite?
Buckle in, it's going to take a long time. So Luke, are you any good at maths?
No.
I'm not very good either. However, I'm a pretty good magician, and I've created something called Math and Magic, patent pending.
Okay.
Would you like to see it?
Would love to.
It uses a pack of cards.
Okay.
Okay. As you can see, 52 cards,
Okay.
52 possibilities. They're all there, they're all different.
Okay.
Now we're going to do a couple of things with this deck of cards, but the first thing that I'm going to do is show you this. It is a grid that I designed. I should point out I'm not an artist, but it's all right, is the point. Now I also have a pen. Can you hold on to the pen?
Yeah.
Here's what I want you to do. Can you take the lid off? And what's your name again, sorry? Lou.
Yes.
Can you give the pen to Lou? Thank you. And Lou, can you write your name on the back of the card? Nice big letters, very good. And underneath, put your bank account number and stuff. No, I'm just trying. Very wonderful. Can you recap the pen for me?
Yeah.
That'd be okay. Give me a blow. Good. Rub the back of the. Let me look at the finger. Good. The ink's dry. Brilliant. Okay. What we're going to do is, can you hold your hand out for me?
Yeah.
Nice and flat. Very good. I'm going to put that grid right there. Now we're going to get back to it in a minute.
Okay.
Now there are. If you add up the 52 cards in the deck, it comes to 364. Useless information that you probably didn't need to know, but I thought I'd tell you anyway.
Okay.
Lou, we're going to go one step further. I'm going to give these cards a shuffle, and then once I've shuffled them, we're going to take 6 cards out of this deck.
Okay.
Whatever the total value of those 6 cards is, that's going to be the number we're going to work with.
Okay.
So that way it's a random number.
Yeah.
Okay? So just say stop anytime.
So.
There. So we'll take 2 cards from there,
Okay.
and let's do it again anytime you want to. There. 2 cards from there. Now, do you want to shuffle with before we get the last 2, or?
Yes, please.
Oh, you don't. Have you ever helped a magician before?
Yeah.
Well, you're not helping one now, to be honest, Lou, but it's my fault. I shouldn't have picked you. Right, okay. Is that okay, the shuffle?
Yeah.
Just say stop?
Stop.
Wonderful. We'll take 2 cards from there, okay? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to add up these 6 cards, and that's going to be our total. Lou, get ready. Watch this. So Queen is 11 because it goes 10. Jack is 11. Queen is 12. King is 13. So that's a 12. 12 plus 3 is 15. Thank you. I really struggled with the high numbers. 15 plus 10, 25. Plus 2,
27.
27. Plus 11, 38. Plus 1.
39.
39. So if we'd have shuffled them in a different way, if you'd have picked different cards, this would have been a totally different number, but we ended up with 39.
Yeah.
Lou, before we began, I gave you a grid. You signed your name on the back of it.
Yeah.
If I told you I could make the number 39 appear, would that be good?
Yeah.
Watch. The magic has just happened, Lou.
Oh, really?
Check it out. Look at the other side of this card. Now, that's a magical moment, but we have a problem. You know what the problem is? There's no 39. So I kind of failed. But you had a free choice, didn't you?
Yeah.
Here's the interesting bit. Look at this, Lou. Let me get my my pen. Oh, my pen. Look at this. 9 plus 12
Yeah.
is
21.
plus 2 is 23,
Yeah.
plus 16 is 39. Those four come to 39. 15 plus 3 is 18, plus 8 plus 13 is 39. 4 plus 18 is 22, plus 10 is 32, plus 7 is 39. 11 plus 6 plus 5 plus 17 is 39. Every single row adds up to 39, the number you freely pick. But look at this, 9 plus 15 plus 4 plus 11, you go on the vertical, that's 39. 12 plus 3 is 15, plus 18 plus 6 is 39. 5 plus 10 is 15, plus 8 is 23, plus 16 is 39. 2 plus 13 plus 7 plus 17 is 39. Every single vertical and horizontally is the number that you freely named. But that's not it. Look at this. Diagonally, 9 plus 3 plus 10 plus 17 is 39. 11 plus 18 plus 8 plus 2 is 39. Look at the 4 in the middle. 8 plus 3 is 11 plus 10 is 22. That's 39. Look at these 4 here. 15 plus 3 plus 18 plus 4 is 49. Look at these 4 here. It's 39. These 4, these 4, these 4, these 4. Look at the 4 corners. 9 plus 2 is 11. Plus 11 is 22. Plus 17. It says on the floor, but trust me, it's 39. There are over 75 ways of reaching 39, which magically printed in your hand on your sign card that you had from the beginning with a freely chosen number, and that is Mathemagic. Any questions? That's never worked before, so we got to share the moment together, which is good. Wow. You know what's even more amazing? You get to keep that as a souvenir.
Oh, thank you.
Put it up on your bedroom wall next to One Direction poster. Card trick. Not just any card trick, but possibly the greatest card trick of all time.
Go for it.
Okay, so before I begin, I want to tell you I have a prediction. I'm going to put this here underneath the chain of your handbag. It's going to go right there. I want you to remember, guys, before I began, that prediction was put down on the table. Okay? Now, do you play cards?
Some easy games.
Okay, well, I'm going to show you a very, very cool trick. These are all there and they're all different. Okay? 52 cards, 52 possibilities. We'll start by giving them a shuffle. Are you happy, or would you like to give them one more?
Yeah, that's fine.
That's great. And you're going to pick a card. Now, here's how it's going to work. I'm going to go through the cards like this. You're going to say stop. Wherever you say stop, that's going to be your card. You have a completely free choice. And even then, I'll show you the card you've stopped on. And if you're not happy with it, we can go for another one. I get paid by the hour. I don't care. Okay? So anytime you want to, just say stop.
Stop.
There, are you sure?
Yeah.
So I will show you the card you've stopped on. It's this one here, the 5 of clubs. Are you happy with that, or should we do it again?
Stick or twist? Stick.
Stick. You're going to stick.
Yeah.
5 of clubs. That was a free choice. You could have changed your mind if you wanted.
I
but
could
you
have.
didn't. This prediction has been here from the very beginning. Do you remember I put it down here under the chain of her handbag, Dave, from the very beginning? And you picked a 5 of clubs. This is going to blow your mind. You see, my prediction is the 8 of hearts. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm here all week. You don't look very impressed, I have to be honest. I understand why you're not impressed, but you should be. You could have picked any card, you picked a 5. If you'd have gone on, it would have been a different number.
Yeah.
I put an 8 down on the table from the beginning. I wrote a secret message in the card box, which you can only see using UV light. I wrote an invisible ink, one number. I wrote the number 13. The reason I wrote the number 13, what's 5 add 8?
Okay, yeah.
It's 13. Now, you still look fairly underwhelmed, but think about this for a minute. If you picked a 6, that wouldn't be 13,
No,
that'd
yeah.
be 14. If you picked a 10, that would be 18. I predicted the total of the 2 cards, but I can tell you're not happy. Do you know why you're not happy, Charlotte? It is Charlotte, right?
Yeah.
Do you know why you're not happy? You wanted me to predict the exact card, didn't you?
Yeah.
It's not good enough
But
for
that's
you.
still good, but
It's
yeah,
not
I
good enough
did.
for you for me to just predict the total. You're here at the world famous Smoke and Mirrors Bar. You wanted me to predict the actual card. I did. Would you like to hold on to my torch? First of all, this was the card that you picked, wasn't it? Do you see anything on the back of that card?
No.
Do you know why? Nothing's on the back of it. But here's the thing. Do you see anything on the back of this card?
No.
Let me go through the whole deck, shine it on the whole deck. Do you see anything on any of these cards? Do you know why? There's nothing written. Dave, look, nothing written in UV ink on any one of these cards. And yet this Ace of Hearts was here from the very beginning.
Yeah.
There is something written on the back of this one. You picked a 5 of clubs. Shine it on the back of that. 5 of. How? I don't know. This stuff just happens. I've seen it before. I still don't know how it works.
That's brilliant.
That's kind of crazy, right?
Yeah, it's mint.
Well, can I do one more?
Yeah.
While I've got you guys whipped up into a fever pitch, let's continue with this carnival-like atmosphere that we have created. How's that? we will do one last one. Dave, as you're the man that brings the fun, honestly, the thing that's making this is your excitement and enthusiasm. If I'm not looking you directly in the eyes, I'm not being rude. The light's bouncing between our heads and we've got a laser thing going on. Can you hold on to this? This is another deck. Don't open it just yet. That's Charlotte's in a minute, but you can hold on to it, okay? I love how you're doing it like that. That's very showbiz. That's amazing. So, we're going to try and do one more thing. Charlotte, if I asked you to name any card in the deck, there is a very good chance that you would probably go for something like the Queen of Hearts or the Ace of Spades.
Yeah.
That's what you were thinking of,
Yeah.
wasn't it? Yeah. Because statistically, that's what most people go for.
Oh, is it?
So we're going to make it random. Could you cut the cards somewhere?
Yeah.
Just cut some cards.
Like that?
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. And just put them there, and we'll mark that cut. We'll mark where you cut for a minute, okay? Now, likewise, if I asked you to pick a number from 1 to 52, you'd probably go for 7 or 37. Those are the two common numbers. So we're going to randomly generate a random number and a random card.
Okay.
First of all, the random card. You could have cut anywhere. This is the card you cut to. Can
Yeah.
you see it? Yeah?
Yeah.
Very important you remember that card, because later on when I dramatically say, this is your card, if you don't know, it kind of loses its
Yeah.
impact slightly. So please remember. Wonderful. Now, we will give the cards a shuffle. I say shuffle because I can't say shuffle. One shuffle. Thanks. Now, Dave, this is your job. The moment you've been waiting for, Dave.
Wow.
We're going to pick 4 cards.
How many?
We're going to put 4. And it's not about the cards. We're going to total the values up.
Okay.
And that's how we're going to create our random number. So if we had 4 aces, it'd be 1 add 1 add 1 add 1,
Yeah.
that'd be 4. So Dave, anytime you're on 2, say stop.
Stop.
Ideally before I get to the end, Dave. It's my fault. I shouldn't have picked you. I'll do it again.
Stop.
I haven't started yet. But I do have a feeling that was maybe a comment on my act, Dave. I don't know. We'll do it again. I go very quick. It's why I was single until 35. Let's do it again.
Stop.
Perfect. So we'll take 2 cards from there, okay? And we'll do it again and take another 2.
Stop.
There. Do you want me to go on, or is that okay?
That's okay.
Okay, we'll take 2 cards from there as well. Okay? Say hi from me. Now the rest of the cards get put away. These are the 4 cards that we're going to look at. 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll add up the totals. Okay, we'll add up the totals. So let's have a look. We've got 7. 7 and a joker doesn't really count as anything.
No.
It's a joker, so we'll just say 7 plus a king. That's 13. Because it goes 10, Jack, Queen, King. Jack is 11, Queen is 12, King is 13.
Okay.
So 13 plus 7 is 20.
Yeah.
6. 26. Was that a random number that you generated there, Dave?
Yeah, that was.
You pick the cards. I'll put the rest over here. Here's the thing. This is my big finish. This is the moment. You were holding these cards the whole time. I don't even want to touch them. You take those cards as if you're about to deal, right? And what I want you to do, you're going to deal 25 cards face down into my hand. We'll count along. You make sure she's not cheating.
No.
25, go.
From the top?
From the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Stop. Dave, isn't this exciting? We're on 10. Keep going. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. The tension mounts, and Dave's banging his hand on the table. This is helping. Thank you, Dave. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. That's the 26th card. It's a blue card, Dave. I know. Let me put that there. Spread them face down. Are there any other blue cards? Just spread through them. That's the only blue card. Hold on to those face down for a minute. This is the only blue card. It was in the 26th position. You clicked 26. What was the card you looked at earlier?
Jack of Spades.
The Jack of Spades at 26. This was the only blue card in the deck at the 26th position, and believe it or not.
That's brilliant.
You
Yeah.
know what? When you go home and tell people about this, I know you're going to be thinking that's brilliant, but you're not going to think about that. You're going to think about how there was never a choice of having any other card but the Jack of Spades. You know why? Turn the cards face up and look through them. Every other card is blank. There's only one card in the pack that's printed, Charlotte. The only one that's printed is the card you picked, the Jack of Spades. The
Crazy.
position you named, Dave. Come on now.
That's brilliant.
Thank you.
No, that's brilliant.
It's never worked before, so we've got to share them on. Okay, so as you can see, that was the live performances from Smoke and Mirrors. Thanks to Mark Bennett for letting me film there. Now we're going to go into the commentary track. So now we're going to play the same footage again, but this time you're going to be hearing my thoughts. It's going to be like inside my head. It's like you're going to be inside my head. I can't imagine why anybody would want to be inside my head, but if you ever did want to, this is your opportunity. You're going to see exactly what's happening behind the scenes. Let's have a look at that footage right now.
Okay, so let's start looking at these live performances from the Savant deck show, and let's have a look at this. So the first one, this is a couple, and they are in a bar. Obviously, this is Smoke and Mirrors that I'm performing for. And the key thing is when you're doing any sort of set, when you're performing multiple routines, it's kind of really important to build. It's really important to make sure that each trick that you perform is better than the trick before. Now, that's subjective. So what I mean by that is my idea of what trick is better is going to be different to somebody else's idea of what trick is better. Now, notice right there, you see that I'm doing... I'm not confident that this couple can shuffle very well. I want them to feel like they've shuffled the deck. So you can see that I've given the deck a couple of riffle shuffles, and then I'm spreading it out on the table and having the lady to the right push the cards together. One of the questions that comes up again and again with the Savant deck is, can you get the spectator to shuffle the cards? What happens if you shuffle the cards and, you know, what happens if they, you know, can't riffle shuffle the cards? What you just saw there is exactly what you do, and there's nothing suspicious about it at all. You give the cards a couple of shuffles, you then give it another shuffle, spread the cards out on the table. They feel like the cards have been completely shuffled. Now, so the first routine that I'm going into is Rain Man. I really like this. Now, look, here's the thing. I'm in a situation here where I'm performing to a captive audience. Now, they're in a magic bar. They like magic, which is great. This is a perfect routine for that situation. And really, honestly, when you perform in the real world, your openers change very much depending on the group of people that you go up to, the environment you're in. If I was doing mix and mingle and I had an hour to get around 100 groups, this would not be my chosen opener. But in a restaurant, in a bar where you've got a little bit more time, you've got a captive audience, this is perfect because this establishes credibility. And most importantly, it's not a card trick. It's not a coin trick. I say it's not a card trick. It is a card trick, but it's not a pick a card trick, right? Now, the other thing is, do you notice that, and I do this with all groups, you're seeing me doing it here to a couple, but I'm doing it to all groups, which is, you don't just want to speak to one person. That's a mistake that a lot of magicians make. They speak to one person and they direct everything to one person, and the other person just feels like they've been completely left out. Now, I personally don't like that. So when I'm performing, I try to make sure that everybody's involved. Now, the other thing is, you notice that I do this very differently to the way Lloyd does it. And if you've seen the tutorial for the Savant deck, you know this. You know, when they're cutting the cards, I'm actually there. I'm actually helping them count the cards out. I don't feel like that's a problem. And the reason is, I like to limit the amount of time that I'm not looking. And even when I'm turned round, I'm not turned round completely. I'm just turned round a little bit because I want to have eye contact with the audience. I want to make sure that I'm interacting and I'm building a relationship up with the audience. Now, that's a difficult thing to do when your back is turned through the entire performance. Now, for somebody like Lloyd, who's a social performer, that's totally not a problem. But for me, when I'm trying to like get people to enjoy themselves, notice I'm throwing little lines in, little jokes in there. The most important thing is that they're having a great time. The most important thing is I'm building that relationship up with them. And that's kind of really important. So you see in this performance, I'm limiting the amount of time that I'm turning around. Now, different performers will perform in different ways. And I've already spoken on this channel before about the way that I perform. I make it very, very hit and run. It's very funny. I don't want people to take myself too seriously. You'll notice when Lloyd does the Rain Man routine, you'll notice that it's very serious. It's very straight up. Well, my goal is to make people laugh. Doesn't mean that the routine can't be powerful. The routine absolutely can be powerful. And Rain Man, this particular routine with the Savant deck, this is one of my favorite things to do. I love performing this. You see reaction it gets on the audience. Now, most of the routines is an instant reset. Rain Man, the way that I did it there is not an instant reset. Now, you can reset it in front of the audience very, very easily by picking up pairs. But I don't do that. I like to keep it very, very haphazard. So you see that I'm literally resetting the deck in front of the audience in real time. How do you do that? I have people ask me on this channel all the time, how do you do that? How do you reset something in front of the audience? Well, the way you do it is by just doing it. Notice I'm chatting to them. I'm talking to them. I'm having a conversation with them, right? I'm sorting the cards out. Absolutely 100% I'm sorting the cards out. I'm doing what I need to do, but it doesn't look like I'm doing anything suspicious. Of course, it's not like I'm trying to stack the aces or anything like that. That's not what I'm doing. From their point of view, I'm just putting random pairs of cards together. So, it really makes no difference. So if you have got the Savant deck and you're worried about doing something like Rain Man and wrecking the stack and not being able to go into anything else, watch this video and you'll see you can just literally go back into stack anytime you want to. Now, from a structural point of view, and when I talk about structuring a routine, I always want an effect to build. So Rain Man's finished. Now, Rain Man is kind of a very cerebral effect. It's very much I'm going to be able to mentally calculate numbers very, very quickly. I like to go from that into this particular routine. This is the UV routine, or one of the UV routines. Big shout out to Thomas Maloney for coming up for this bad boy. And I love this trick. The structure of this is just so wonderful. It really is. Because of the way that the routine is constructed, and because of the way that the routine plays and how the prediction card is put down on the table from the very, very beginning, it feels like you've done nothing. It feels like, because if you actually think about it, the prediction is put down on the table from the very, very beginning. And you openly say that. You say, look, I'm going to put a prediction down on the table. And then they can literally pick any card they want to, and they really can pick any card that they want to. Now, notice at this point, what I'm doing is I'm actually reframing. And I'm reframing exactly what happened. So when something is impossible like that, hey, the prediction's been on the table the whole time. That's a moment where you're reframing. Now, I love this routine because it builds. So you bring up this UV torch and you point out that this prediction here matches the total amount on the two cards that down on the table. I remember when Lloyd first saw this and he went, well, that's the weaker of the two moments. Well, yeah, it is the weaker of the two moments. But you see the reaction from the people I'm performing for. Although it is the weaker of the two moments, one, it's still a very strong reveal, because think about it. They could literally pick any card. They could change their mind. Your card was down on the table from the beginning, and yet you were able to, predict the total amount. But that's not why you do this routine. And this is the genius that is Thomas Maloney. You've got this beautiful moment where they can look through every single card in the deck. They can check every single card, and they can see that there's nothing on any card. This is like impossible, right? So now, when you go back to the prediction that has been on the table from the very, very beginning, you see this moment and watch their reaction. Watch their reaction right here when you turn this over and she shines the light on it. Watch the reaction. That is impossible. Now, this is a big statement that I'm going to make now, and I believe I made this statement on the tutorial. But I genuinely think this moment is as strong as, if not potentially stronger than the invisible deck. Because the invisible deck, you have a card picked, they name a card, and then it's turned over in the deck. And you can, if you don't present it well, have people think, well, maybe somehow you turn the card over in the deck. This is impossible. They feel like they can name any card. I know it's slightly restricted, but not really. But it feels like they can pick any card from a shuffled, examinable deck. They check every other card in the pack, and there is no UV ink on any other card in the pack. And then the one card, the one single solitary card that you put down as a prediction has that UV on it that predicts the card that they took. And that's after you were able to predict the total amount of the two cards added together. I said to Lloyd during or just before the shoot, so when we sat down, he hadn't seen this when we went to do the shoot. And I showed it him and I went, honestly, Lloyd, this could be a standalone product. This achieves what Lux achieves, but without needing a gimmicked UV light. And it really does. It achieves what Lux achieves without using a gimmicked UV light. And it could be a standalone trick in its own right. And it's so ridiculously strong. And even if you don't do anything else with the Savant deck, and you only do one routine, I seriously encourage you to do the UV prediction because it is just stonkingly good. I can't believe I used the word stonking. But there you go. Now, from a structural point of view, let's get back to this because now, we're about 10 minutes into a set. And if you think about it, they've done this Rain Man style presentation. And then I've done a really cool prediction of a card that they've freely taken. And this is another great thing about the Savant deck. Now I'm going into another completely different style of routine. And this is the shuffle tracking routine. So this is the routine where they name a value, they name a particular card from that value. In this case, she's named a 6. You use the 6 to randomly select another value, thanks to Nemid Phoenix for that one. And then you have this moment where you tell them that you're going to shuffle the cards together and keep those two cards together. And once you've kept those two cards together, the next thing that's going to happen is you're going to stack all the other 6s next to all the other 7s. It sounds like a completely impossible, outlandish claim. It sounds like a completely impossible, outlandish claim, but then that's what you're going to do. Now, the interesting thing about what you're seeing here in this video is that I messed the trick up slightly. That was my own fault. And you're going to see a moment where I messed the trick up. So what's meant to happen, and anyone who's got the tutorial will know this, what's meant to happen is that you end up with the 4 6s shuffled next to the 4 7s. And that happens pretty much every single day. In fact, this is the first time that this went wrong. And I know why it went wrong. I know exactly what I did, and I knew exactly how I screwed it up. But people ask me on this channel all the time, how do you fix a mistake? How do you fix a problem? And there's 2 things I want to say about this before it actually happens. It's going to happen in a minute. First of all, it's really important that when you are going to start performing effects in the real world, you think about what the problems are going to be beforehand so that if you hit that problem, you know how to deal with it. So, for example, if you're doing an ambitious card for the first time, you think about what happens with the ambitious card. Well, what happens if you actually lose the card in the deck and you can't control it? What happens if the card doesn't appear on the top of the deck? What happens if somebody says, hey, I can see your double lift? You think about all these things beforehand, and by thinking about them beforehand, you're then kind of covered in the moment. And what I mean by that is people that are stressed out never make good decisions. You just don't. So if you can eliminate the decision-making process during that stressful moment, it becomes a lot easier. So in this case, I'd thought through this trick as well as every trick on the Savant deck when I first created it, and I was like, right, okay, what could happen? Well, what happens if the target cards aren't next to the other cards? Now, I could have 3 of them work. So I had 3 6s next to 3 7s, and 1 didn't work. Notice I don't skip a beat. The most important thing is not to let the audience be aware that you've made a mistake. Never let the audience be aware. Here's the thing. The reason we don't tell the audience ahead of time what the trick is going to be is we want to have the ability to veer off into a different direction. And that's the situation here. 3 of the cards were paired up. 3 of the cards worked. 1 didn't. So all I did is I very, 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 very quickly controlled the one that didn't work to the top, and I got her to put the other card into the middle of the deck. Sorry, it's a little bit blurred here. Got her to put it into the middle of the deck and just used a cull effectively to load that card next to the face-up card, right? And this actually became a better ending. Look at her reaction. Look at his reaction. Now, they were reacting to just 3 of the cards working and 1 of them not. And I could have just left it there. I could have just said, well, 3 out of 4 ain't bad. But I already knew what I was going to do. I wish I could claim on this video that I'm clever enough to come up with this moment on the spur of the moment. And sometimes I could, maybe. But in this case, I'd kind of thought to myself, right, what's going to happen? Well, if 1 doesn't hit, I could control it to the top and cull it next to their card. If 2 don't hit, then I could do this. If 3 don't hit, I could do this. And that is the most important thing. The reaction to this was stronger than the reaction to the previous moments. Even though the previous moments were just as strong, the reaction to this was stronger because she was doing it. And I think that's a lesson to all of us, which is the magic's always stronger when you put it in the hands of the spectator. Now, this particular set had 4 tricks, and notice how there's such an eclectic range of magic. The first trick, like I said, was the Rain Man effect. Then you went into the UV effect, then into the shuffle tracking effect, and it finishes off with this, which is the ACAN, or one of the 3 ACANs that are on the project. Now, I love this ACAN. Everybody knows that's listening to this. I have a million different ACANs that I love to perform, and I will vary them up all of the time. The Atomic deck is amazing. I've got, ACANs with Stebbins decks and Svengali decks and Mirage decks and Focus decks and God knows what. I've probably published more ACANs than anybody else in the history of Magic. I love this ACAN. This is my favorite ACAN to perform at the end of a set with the Savant deck. This is my favorite ACAN to perform. Now, I know that there's going to be people watching this because they've said it to me before, and they're going to say, well, ACAN's a boring trick. ACAN's boring. It's so boring. Here's the thing. ACAN is not boring. There's no such thing as a boring trick. There are such things as boring magicians. If you're going to present an ACAN as deal the cards one at a time, if you're going to perform it very straight-laced, then yes, absolutely, 100%, ACAN is boring. But I've got a million ways of presenting ACAN to make it anything but boring. I love performing it to married couples and saying, hey, do you ever find that you finish each other's sentences? And, let's see if you're in sync. There's a million different ways of performing it. And look at their reactions. Right now, they don't even know what the trick is. They don't even know what they're doing. They don't even know what's happening. And yet they're having a good time. They're having a laugh. They're enjoying themselves. They're having fun. Now, the reason I love this ACAN so much is you give them that deck of cards. And that can be given out at the beginning of the set if you want it to be. It's up to you, but you can actually give that deck of cards out at the beginning of the set. Now, the cool thing about this particular ACAN is that the Savant deck does 2 things. It allows you to force the card that they're selecting, but it also allows you to force a number. And that's one of the things that Savant deck does really well. It allows you to force a number. So you can actually make a spectator pick a particular number, and that's what's happening here. For anybody who hasn't got the deck, that's what's happening here. So I'm forcing the number 26, even though it's a shuffle deck and they can take whatever cards they want to, and it's a completely free choice, and they don't feel like they're being forced because it doesn't look like a force. They are being forced. So the selection of the cards to choose the number is great. Now, I could just turn all 4 of them over and get them to count to 26, but I don't do that. Notice how I'm turning the cards over one at a time, and I'm having them count the value of each card. This makes it even more impossible. Also, please notice that I've put the deck into the hands of the spectator. Now, I know some people are going to go, ooh, blank deck in the hands of the spectator. Yes, you can deal it yourself, but honestly, with a little bit of audience management, this is absolutely not a problem. in any way, shape, or form. This is how I always do it, and it becomes more impossible. And if there's one thing that you can take home from this video, it's that anytime you put the magic in the hands of the spectator, anytime you get to do everything, get them to do everything, it's way more powerful. Now, notice I'm reframing here. This is the finale to my set. This is the finale to the whole thing. And I really need to build this up. So I'm reframing, I'm explaining how impossible this is, and they're going to deal to the final number. Now, when they do, watch the reaction. And they see that blue card appear. Can you see why this? And also notice I'm slowing them down towards the end. And the reason I'm slowing them down is because I really want this moment to savor. I really want this moment to savor. One blue card. That's the first moment of magic. Then the second moment of magic is that it's in the position that they name. The third moment of magic is when they look at the card and they realize it's their card. But look, again, I'm not rushing this. You do not want to rush this moment. Reframe, rebuild, let people know how impossible this is. And that's how you get killer reactions. Now, she's about to lose her mind. She was about to drop the cards on the table. I didn't want her to. The lovely way of having the one spectator to deal the cards into the hands of the other spectator is they're left holding all the blank cards. And they don't even realize it. So now, right now, when you have them turn the cards over, and you have them look through the cards, and you have them realize exactly what's happened, this is one of the strongest things you can do. Look at their face. Look at her face. She looks like she's just been hit by a truck. He's just like, oh my God, this is impossible. This is the moment. And the cool thing is, everything at this point is examinable. They can look at the blank cards. That's a normal blank deck. The Savant deck, if they want to, they can look at that. They're not going to find anything. Not that they will find anything, because there's nothing to find. And that's the really cool moment to this. There is absolutely nothing to find. And the great thing about this is there is no reset. Because she's got the 26 blank cards there, all I have to do is pick up the 26 blank cards at the end of the set. I put the blue card back into the position where it needs to be, box that deck, pick up the Savant deck, put the Savant deck back into the box. I'm ready to perform any other routine that I want with the Savant deck. I'm ready to perform any other. I can go into a completely different set if I want to, because the Savant deck is reset up and ready to go. And you can see how impossible it is for them. And, you know, this was a 21-minute set. 21 minutes with just a Savant deck. 21 minutes with just a Savant deck. And obviously a blank deck and a couple of other bits and pieces. Now, this is a slightly different scenario because we're doing different effects. But again, please notice that in this case, I'm shuffling the cards before I start. Now, look, people have asked about the spectators shuffling the deck. You saw in the previous routine, you saw in the previous phase that I had them shuffle. Just in this case, I asked the guy, are you any good at shuffling these cards like this? And he goes, yeah, I can do that. And so I'm going to give him the cards. And I'm going to let him do it. So he can shuffle the cards himself. And that's the important thing, right? It's about knowing your audience. It's about knowing who you're performing for. And it's about knowing what they're capable of, what they're not capable of, and adapting the performance accordingly. So in this case, he can shuffle the cards. Great, let him shuffle the cards, no problem. And notice, although there is a bar behind me, I'm standing next to the bar at Smoke and Mirrors, this is kind of more of a stand-up performance. It's not like they're sitting at a table or anything like that. So I have the ability to use that little table if I want to put cards down. But this is kind of more of a walk-around situation. The nice thing about the Savant deck is you can do it on the table, you can do it in the spectator's hands, you can do it however you want to. It absolutely makes not a difference. Whether you're a walk-around performer or you're a table performer, there's routines for absolutely everybody. So again, in this set, notice I'm starting with the Rain Man routine. You know, if there was one particular routine with the Savant deck that we would have to say, you know what, that one right there, that is the kind of the main routine. That is the one we go for. Now, the other thing I want you to notice I'm getting them to overhand shuffle at this point now. So they can see, and they will remember, that the cards are being overhand shuffled. And that's an important consideration, right? You're creating a false memory. Later on, you're going to be in a situation where people feel like they've shuffled the deck any way that they want to. While in actual fact, that's not the case. So, again, did you notice, just like I did in the previous set, I didn't turn around as much as Lloyd did. I'm also trying to make this more of a comedic moment. So when I turn around and I look back, I'm trying to make it very, very comedic. And this is all acting. Both me and Lloyd have had people turn around to us and go, "Oh, what's the mental calculations like?" Well, it's not. I knew what the total was before I even took my glasses off. As soon as I know what number they've taken, I'm aware of absolutely everything. But in this particular moment here, again, you can see how strong this moment is, because from their point of view, they shuffled as much as they wanted to. They cut off a packet of cards. You told them the number when you looked around for half a second. It is a very strong piece, and I don't know of many tricks that allow you to do what you are seeing right here. It's why Rain Man is a great lead-in and a great opener if you are in a situation where you're able to perform to people in an environment where you've grabbed their attention, if that kind of makes sense. So let's have a look at the next routine here. So you can see I'm going straight into the next routine. And you notice I'll put a face down card on the table and I put it underneath the spectator's phone. The reason I put it under the spectator's phone, or I'll try and put it under whatever object there is available, is mainly because I don't want people to reach over and turn it over too early. And I'm not talking about the people I'm performing for. I'm talking about somebody that's walking past in the bar. You can have that if you're not careful. So the way to get around that is to just put it under an object. It's a little bit like putting a coin into a spectator's hand and then getting them to turn their hand over and palm down, so that if they turn their hand over to look at the coin, you'll notice and you'll be able to stop it, right? Anyway, so we're going into the UV trick again, and as I say, the cool thing about the UV trick is I can get them to change their mind. So he stopped and he looked at a card, and I said to him, "Do you want that card, or do you want to change your mind?" And he wanted to change his mind. You can get him to change his mind as many times as you want to. And that's one of the really cool things about this. And what I'll try to do is I'll very much try to encourage this. I'll very much try to get the person to change their mind, because I want to be able to say later on, and remember, you changed your mind. You've changed your mind numerous times. You changed absolutely everything about it. Now, this is the same UV trick that I did on the previous table, but you can see it's being held in a different way. Now, the other thing, notice, I'm always trying to put things in people's hands. If there's an option to give somebody to hold something, then that's the option you take. You always want to try and put things into people's hands wherever possible. So, obviously, this is, again, the structure that I love about the UV trick by Thomas is, you're in a situation where they think you failed, like this is a terrible prediction, but you're building up the impossibility of the revelation on the card box, and then you're building up the revelation of the impossibility on the prediction. Now, the cool thing is, from my point of view, from the magician's point of view, I'm done. This is done. I don't have to do anything, because it's done. I'm already here. I've already got the necessary cards out that I need to get out. I'm finished. So you've got this moment here where it's the number 13. And, sometimes I'll perform this particular routine. I'll have this first phase where it's the number 13. And people will be like, "Wow, that's amazing. That's really good." And they won't, they won't even think that that's a bad trick. And it's not a bad trick, but it's nowhere near as good as what you're about to see later on, because what you're about to see later on is a million times better. But it always surprises me how good the trick comes across, right? And I suppose the thing that we can learn from that is, don't undersell something. Sometimes magicians will do that, won't they? They will By the way, there's the moment with the UV, and they're seeing that there's nothing written on any of the other cards. That subtlety is amazing. I love that subtlety. It's one of my favorite things. But anyway, what was I saying? Yes. So magicians will sometimes, not realize how amazing a particular moment is. And a revelation of a forced card is always a really strong moment. This is not even a forced card. He could change his mind numerous times, and he had. And the other thing, notice that they're both reacting really strongly, but in a completely different way to the first table. People ask me again sometimes on this channel, they say, how do you get crazy reactions every single time you perform? Well, you don't. Different people act differently in different ways. Sometimes people go crazy, absolutely 100%. Sometimes people go nuts. Oh my God, that's amazing. That's brilliant. Sometimes people will be slightly more reserved. Doesn't mean they're enjoying it any more or any less. That's just the way it is. Now, notice I just palmed off the double backer that I needed for that routine, ready to go into the next trick, and again, that's something that sometimes you have to do. Sometimes you just, be aware of what you've got and what you need to do in order to get into whatever position you need to be into next. Anyway, we're going into the A-can again, and we're doing the blank deck A-can here by the looks of it. So here's the thing, right? Note the important thing, and I think I mentioned this earlier on. The most important thing is justification, right? So I come from a background of coin magicians, and I learned coin magic before I learned anything else, and because of that, as coin magician, you understand and you learn very early on the importance of justification. It's so important to justify everything. Everything is so important. You have to justify everything. If I'm picking a coin up and putting it in the other hand, why am I picking it up and putting it in the other hand? What's my reason for picking up that coin? What's my reason for putting it in the other hand? What is that hand for, right? So it's the same with this. I need to justify why I'm having them pick a card from the deck, as opposed to just having them name a card. I need to justify why I'm using the deck to have a number picked, as opposed to just having them name the number. And it's fine. There's no problem at all, as long as you are good at justifying those moments, as long as you do justify it. If you just do it arbitrarily without saying anything, then you can get into a problem. But as long as it's justified to the audience, it's not an issue. Now, notice this. We know this guy can shuffle the cards. We saw him shuffle them at the very beginning. But I'm very rarely getting people to shuffle cards when I do this trick. And one of the hang-ups that I've seen, that I especially on the live with Bo Kramer and Lloyd Barnes, one of the hang-ups that people have, one of the things that people are worried about is, shuffling and here's the thing. If the spectator's going to shuffle the cards, I get them to do it at the beginning. If they can't shuffle the cards, I'm going to shuffle them for them, or I'm going to shuffle them, get them to push them together. But after that, I'm going to give the cards a quick shuffle, but I'm going to do it myself. I'm not going to let the spectator shuffle the cards, even though that I can. This guy here, we saw at the beginning, he's great at shuffling cards, but I don't need to do that, because I want the pace to be quickened up. I want it to be pacey. I don't want it to be slow. And because I don't want it to be slow and I want it to be pacey, handing him the deck would just take forever. Now, again, you'll notice I'm getting the spectator to deal the cards into the other spectator's hands. I'm getting the lady to deal it into the man's hands. Again, notice I'm telling jokes. I'm trying to make it as funny and as amusing as possible. She's dealing faster, okay? So I'm having to slow things down to try and, build up the dramatic tension, which is, again, very, very important. And, for people that are asking, can you do this Savant deck in a person's hands? Absolutely 100%. Audience management is all you need. Now, watch the reaction right here. Watch the reaction when they realize, and this is why I love this A-can so much. It reminds me a little bit like Brainwave, right? So you see that blue card at the position that they named. That's strong. Then they look at the card, and again, I'm reframing, but then look at the card, and the card actually ends up being the card that they picked. And here's the thing, spectators will give themselves false memories all the time. And what I mean by that is it's very easy to have a false memory as a spectator. You will think back and you will remember things very, very differently, right? And the way that you make sure that those false memories are in place, stopping and reframing in an interesting way, and sometimes almost changing the narrative. And what I mean by that is, if I've done something where, say, for example, I've not given them the cards to shuffle, I've shuffled them and I've got them to push the cards together. Later on, I'll say, now remember, you shuffled the cards, and they will agree with that because you're changing the memory in their head. You're creating a false memory, and they will agree with that, and they will go away and they'll go, oh my God, I shuffled the cards. And by the way, there they are reacting to the blank cards. I'll get back to the blank cards in a minute, but yeah, reframing is so important. Creating false memories is so important. Now, the other thing I do want to say about those blank cards is, and the reason I love using blank cards so much is because you're creating an impossible object. And anybody who's done coin magic and has made a jumbo coin appear will know what I mean when I say you have created an impossible object. When you do coin magic and you make a jumbo coin appear, that is all anyone cares about. Right, it's the same with this. When you hand someone a blank deck, that's all anyone cares about. That's it. They're just like, oh my gosh, this is the most amazing thing ever. Now, I want to digress and talk about this for a second, because this is my favorite routine. I love Magic Square. I do it on stage all of the time. It always kills. I've never, up until creating this routine for the Savant deck, I've never been able to really do the Magic Square close up. And the reason is it's too procedural. In a close-up environment, it's too procedural. You have to sit there writing down numbers on a grid, and it slows the pace too much for my liking. And the other thing is, on stage, I can use a crib. I use the John Archer method of having a crib on my phone. On my pen. However, in close-up, it's harder to access a crib. It's just a difficult situation. And I love this routine because I can do Magic Square, make it more of a magic trick because of the visual appearance of the numbers, and I can do so without needing a crib, without needing anything, because the Savant deck does all the work for me. So we've got to a situation where they've seen a card with a grid on it, and they've signed that on the back. So now I've got that one spectator invested in that. And now we're going to have a number that's randomly generated. And one of the great things about the Savant deck, and this is something that Thomas has really kind of explored with it, is the ability to basically force numbers, even though it doesn't feel like they're being forced, because the cards are shuffled over and over and over again. And you have people take cards from different parts in the deck, and yet you're using the total of those numbers to force the totals of those values to force numbers. I absolutely love that. I really, really do. And it feels very, very fair, which is important. I think that's one of the reasons why I think of the Savant deck as a utility device as opposed to a series of tricks, because will it allow you to find a card even though the cards are being shuffled and you've done no card control? Yes. Will you know the identity of the card? Yes. Will you be able to use it to force numbers? Yes. Will you be able to use it to identify a total amount of numbers? Yes. There's so many different options and so many different things that you can do with this deck, and that's one of the reasons that I love it so much. Now, this particular routine, the Magic Square, I love that I've got this moment. I've got this moment where their signed card becomes filled in with a bunch of different numbers whilst in their hand. Now, that is a very strong moment right there. It's a ridiculously strong way of doing a Magic Square. And I've never seen a Magic Square before that fills itself in and the spectators have had a free choice of number, apparently. But that's what you've got here. Now, if you have never done a Magic Square before, if a Magic Square has never been in your act, then this is something you are going to love, because I love the way a Magic Square builds. You know, they've thought of this number, and then boom, the Magic Square fills in. And now all of the horizontal rows, all of the vertical columns, all of the diagonals, all of the squares, absolutely everything adds up to the number that they were thinking of. And you see in her face, she keeps looking up at the guy, she keeps looking down at the card, and as you go on, and this is something I learned from John Archer and his Magic Square, and if you haven't actually seen John Archer's Magic Square, I really suggest that you go and pick it up from his Penguin Live. It's brilliant, it's what I do. But I learned this thing where you're building up and you're getting faster and faster and you're getting more excited and you're getting more excited and you're getting more excited. And as you do, it's becoming more and more impossible. Basically, what this routine does is it keeps all the good bits of the Magic Square, takes out all the boring procedural bits, and gives them a signed card that they're going to keep for a souvenir as a magical moment that they will keep forever. And that's kind of why I love it so much. I love this. I know Lloyd has his favorite routines on the Savant Deck project. Absolutely. I have my favorite routines on the Savant Deck project. And I have to say, this is one of my favorites. And if you like giving giveaways away to people, this is great. But this particular group, they saw another 4-trick set. So they saw 4 tricks. You see me varying the tricks up ever so slightly. But they saw 4 tricks. And it just shows you how this works for all groups, no matter what the type of people they are. Now we're going to look at one last performance set. And what's interesting about this is the guy over there on the left was very closed off. You can tell with his body language. You can tell with the way he's being. He wasn't as, I remember when we went up to them, he wasn't as interested as being on camera as the lady. She was very outgoing. She was very extrovert. She was more than happy to be on camera. The guy, not so much. So what I did when I was performing this is I was trying to aim the performance at the woman, but I was trying to get the guy interested and bringing him out of his shell. Now, the other thing, and this happens so much, it's ridiculous. A lot of the time, you'll have the spectator, you'll say to the spectator, hey, would you like to shuffle? And they're going to go, no, it's okay. And myself and Lloyd have talked about this, both on the project and also on the Murphy's live stream and on the Magic podcast. We've talked about it's difficult to get people to want to shuffle the cards because they're not really that interested for a couple of different reasons. One, they can see that you shuffled them. So from their point of view, they're shuffled. Why should they need to shuffle them? But two, and potentially more importantly, not only have they shuffled them and therefore they don't feel like they need to be shuffled, but a lot of people get embarrassed when they're, shuffling cards, and they don't want to be put under pressure. It's something that they just don't want to do. So, it's a lot of the time with and this isn't just exclusive to the Savant deck. This is just exclusive to performing for real people in general. A lot of the time, people just don't want to be put under pressure and don't want to shuffle the cards. Anyway, so the other thing that I want you to notice about this is this particular set. I'm not starting with the Rain Man trick. I'm starting with the UV trick. So the first trick that I'm doing of the set is the UV trick. And notice you've got that moment there where you've got the number 13 reveal. And notice now these guys are less excited. She's smiling and he's smiling. But you can tell they're both thinking, "Oh, good grief! Okay, whatever. Is this the best you're going to get? This is okay." And the routine is structured and designed that way. It's designed so that how do you make an effect play and play strong and play hard? You make an effect play hard and play strong by simply, building up to it. So if the first moment is kind of magical, but not the most amazing magical moment in the world. When you have the second reveal, it's even stronger. So and you know what? If you do own a Savant deck and you are planning on performing the UV trick, please do not skip this step. I had somebody reach out to me and they went, "I'm probably not going to do this, but I'm probably not going to have them shine the light on all the other cards." You kind of need to. You want people to know that there's nothing on any of the other cards. You want people to know that there's only one card that has a signature on it. and that's the card. I'm not seeing. There's only one card that's got a UV prediction on it, and that's the card that they've taken. Notice the guy's coming out of his shell now, and so I'm involving him a little bit more. I'm still focusing on the lady. I'm still focusing on the woman, but I'm now bringing him into it a little bit. Okay, now this particular trick, they told me that this was just before. And there you go. You see, I see he's smiling, giving him a fist bump. Boom. I notice how his body language has changed. Notice how his persona has changed. Notice how he himself has changed. He's now more happy. He's now enjoying the magic. He probably realizes I'm not going to try and make him look like a dick. And so he's opened himself out. He's enjoying it. And the fist bump was me kind of subtly saying, boom, let's do this together. This is amazing, right? And I'm giving him a very simple task to do. I'm just giving him a deck of cards to hold. A very simple task. But it was bringing him into the performance now more. Now, obviously, this is the ACAN that we're seeing for the third time. Two things. One, notice I'm doing a cross-cut force here. Still the best force in the world. You don't have to do a cross-cut force. You can do any force that you want to. The Savant deck is great because it will allow you to use any force because it really operates as a normal deck. But I'm forcing that card there. The second thing is the reason that I'm cutting my set short with these lovely people is because I knew that they were having to go into the show soon. And I didn't want to disturb them and have them in the middle of a set when I knew that they would be going into the show in a little bit. So I wanted to, kind of keep things quick, but I still wanted to do this trick. This typically, like I said at the beginning of this video, this is my closer. A lot of the time when I'm doing the Savant deck, oh my God, Craig's closing with an ACAN. Yes, I am, but it doesn't feel like an ACAN. It feels like the entire deck turns blank. It's like Blizzard. If you remember Dean Dill's Blizzard, it's like Blizzard, but without the deck switch. Because here's the thing, you don't need the deck switch because there's two decks of cards in play. It is implied that all of these cards are normal. And even if they think they were blank from the beginning, that makes the trick even more impressive. Because how the hell was he able to know where the card would be and what position it would be in and what the card would be, if the cards were all blank to begin with? So, it's strong. It's a very, very strong ACAN. Is it the strongest ACAN I do? That's subjective. I don't know. All I can tell you is this is an incredibly strong ACAN. And again, notice here, I'm showing them the cards and I'm showing them what the total value of the cards are. I'm building up for the ACAN right now. Okay. So I'm building up for that finale. Yeah. So what's going to happen? He's been holding that deck of cards the whole time. I've been focusing on her. Now I'm bringing him back into the performance. If there's one thing that I could say that you should learn as a close-up magician, it's the ability to connect with people. It's the ability to connect with lots of different people, read people, understand the type of person they are and how you need to act or what you need to say to them specifically in order to get them to enjoy the performance that you're doing. And you'll notice, even though I'm saying the same lines, even though I'm going through the same script to a point, you'll notice there's a lot of ad-libs, there's a lot of moments that are changing depending on the group I'm performing for, okay? So again, one more thing I want you to notice, we're nearing the end now. The other thing I want you to notice is, and I've done this in every single performance of this ACAN, I'm stopping and framing the moment just before they get to the card. Now, he's reacting. He's like, this is impossible. He's fully into the trick right now. Absolutely fully into the trick. Now, in this case, I still don't want to involve him too much. And I'm talking to him. I'm involving him. But I'm giving her all of the cards. And I didn't do that with the other two couples. And it was my decision to give her the other cards because I wanted to not really give him that much to do. Reveal the card. They think the trick's over. And now, because she's got all of the cards, I can go over the big finale. Again, you don't just go and turn the cards over because they're all blank. Ta-da. That's not what we're doing here. What we're doing is we're building up the moment, letting them spread through. and look at their faces. Look at what they're like. What? What is going on? This makes no sense at all. This is ridiculous. Boom. There's the fist bump one more time. He's fully into it. She's fully into it. Sometimes you have to go into groups and keep it a little bit more simple. You need to keep it a little bit more, shorter than other sets. Really, it's your job to work out which way you go.
So there you go, guys. Look, here's the thing. I was speaking to a friend of mine earlier, and he said Savant deck is probably the best trick that I've ever created. I don't know whether that's true or not, but I'm very, very proud of it. And the buzz that's happening in the Magic community right now is amazing. Thanks for all the positive reviews. Thanks for everyone that's saying amazing things about it. And don't forget, you can pick it up right now. But I will tell you, and this is me not being FOMO, this is not a sales thing, stock is kind of limited. Murphys are okay with stock at the moment, but I think I'm filming this after 2 days after launch, and I think maybe 3/4 of their stock has gone. So it's going pretty fast, so please bear that in mind. Now, outside of that, if you want to see more videos like this, like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below. Don't forget to join the Netrix. We've pushed the Jessammentary to tomorrow, so the Jessammentary episode 3 is going to be on Friday this week, so make sure you go check out the Jessammentary. She's doing an amazing job. I'm going to be back over the weekend with a very special video as well. Look out for that on the Saturday night. Back with the Q&A on Sunday. But I hope you enjoyed the live performances. Drop a comment down below if you've got a Savant deck, if you've performed it yet, and what your feedback is in terms of how you found it performing it to real people. I'll see you again soon. Thank you so much for watching. My name's Craig, and this is Magic TV.